Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife. Today's McDojo news, is crazy as a Canadian MMA fighter who was also convicted of repeated violent sexual offenses is now identifying as trans and is seeking a more lenient sentence because of that. Let's check out the story. A repeat sex offender in Canada has begun identifying as a woman in hopes of seeking a more lenient sentence, citing gender dysphoria. Jody Matthew Burke, a 46-year-old mixed martial arts fighter who was convicted of multiple violent sexual assaults, has now asked to be called Amber and referred to by female pronouns. The Crown and the defense have obliged since Wednesday during sentencing representations at the Montreal courthouse. Burke was convicted in May of 2021 of 8 counts, including sexual assault with a weapon causing bodily harm and death threats. Burke has been incarcerated since 2017 when Burke's trial began. According to court reports of Burke's 2014 criminal case, Burke forced the victim to drink Burke's urine and kiss Burke's feet. The victim was reported to have bruises on her body when she told the police that Burke held a knife to her throat. The Crown asked the court that Burke be declared a dangerous offender, a label that would accompany a minimum of 7 years. Burke is filing a claim to have his sex offender status downgraded to a delinquent to control, which would give him a more lenient sentence. Burke's most recent victim was his wife, Bridget Jobin. He raped her at knife point, broke her ribs, strangled her to the point of unconsciousness, and forced her to tattoo his name on her skin. Unbeknownst to Jobin when she met him, he was residing in a halfway house, where he was serving a sentence for multiple similar violent sexual assault crimes committed in 2005 and 2014 in British Columbia and Ontario. She was also unaware that he was on the federal sexual offender registry as a result of these convictions. Jobin was caught off guard by Burke's latest claims. While she expected him to invent various scenarios, she said that this one came out of nowhere, and she believes this is the latest attempt to try and manipulate the court. Jobin had to wait 4 years for her ex-husband to be convicted, and as he changed lawyers 8 times before eventually representing himself and caused various legal delays. She hopes that Judge Gagne will side with the Crown's argument and declare him a dangerous offender to prevent him from making other victims. Burke began identifying as non-binary at some point after his most recent assault charges in 2017, for which he has been incarcerated since his arrest. The exact timeline of when he first adopted a transgender identity is not known due to his unclear testimony. He says he only realized he was a woman a few weeks ago. Burke says he would like to undergo his transition in a hospital rather than in prison. He also claims that taking cross-sex hormones will make him less likely to reoffend. A Quebec columnist described this as far-fetched, and a psychiatrist from the Pinnell Institute testified that his risk of recidivism could be reduced if he were to do so. The same columnist said this was likely an unrealistic assumption to make. That's a huge if, they were quoted. The psychiatrist recommended he be given a long-term offender designation instead of a dangerous offender designation if Burke undergoes hormone therapy. He constantly doubted his victims' fidelity and accused them of wanting to seduce other men, reads the motion to have Burke declared a dangerous offender. In jealous fits, Burke would strangle his victims until they fainted. Burke's lawyer intends to have an expert testify in a future hearing that Burke's violent past is due to undiagnosed gender dysphoria. Burke explains, "I had to go through my own process to identify that I was not a man." Burke is quoted as saying, Burke had the balls to become a woman. You had to go through your own process by sexually assaulting multiple women. That's a new process. I haven't heard of that one before. In any event, Burke admitted he is still taking testosterone, purportedly to keep fit. He also claims he must delay taking cross-sex hormones to protect himself from attacks by other prisoners. Here it's about a predator, convicted of a series of serious crimes, who now claims to identify as a woman in hopes to winning clemency from a judge, said Isabelle Hatchie in her original reporting for the French-language Canadian news site La Passe, which I'm pretty sure I said wrong. Canada adopted federal legislation in 2017 that protects gender identity. Both the provincial and federal levels in Canada allow male convicts to demand transfers to women's prisons and community facilities based on self-declaration, without regard to their physical anatomy or legal identification documents. Holy that's a lot to unpack, but let's take a stab at it. I looked into Burke's MMA career. Burke did have an MMA career, and if you look, it was a 1-5 record. Only 1 win and 5 losses, and all 5 of those losses came in the first round. So Burke was not very good at MMA. Also, if you look at it, Burke fought Tim Kennedy. So, I mean, if you're going to lose at least one of those is, it's understandable, but still not a good record, but was an MMA fighter. So Burke commits several violent sexual acts against women. While in jail, goes through 8 different lawyers before finally saying, I'll represent myself, and then eventually getting another lawyer where we are now. Then Burke, multiple offender rapist here, decides, you know what's good? I think I'm trans. A week ago. Just decides this a week ago. Once announcing this, it all of a sudden becomes a part of the case, and all of the rape and all the sexual assault was due to undiagnosed gender dysphoria, because that makes sense. No. Personally, I think Burke is playing the system. I do not believe that Burke is transgender. It seems it's just a ploy to play the system, and looking at the way everything is playing out, it is a possibility that Burke might get away with that. I also think that it's kind of messed up that Burke is claiming that being unidentified transgender is what has caused all of these violent acts. Again, that absolutely makes no sense, and I think it's kind of a slap in the face to a lot of people, to be honest. But who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe Burke is legit, but it doesn't seem that way. It truly seems that Burke is just playing the system. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think that whatever Burke decides to be identified as should have any bearing or weight whatsoever on the actual sentencing in this case. Regardless of Burke's preferred pronouns, no matter what, the court should be labeling Burke as a rapist piece of garbage and should be sentenced as such. I thought it was important to add this too. His ex-wife, who went through a whole bunch of horrific abuse, wrote a book about what happened to her during that relationship. And the book is called Survive Until Tomorrow. I know that this particular copy is in French. I am sure that there is an English translation. So if you would like to dig in a little bit more into this story and also support her, you should definitely go pick up that book and check it out. I know I personally will. I am highly curious about all the things that happened during that relationship. But also I want to help support the victim here. So just wanted to let you guys know the book is out, Survive Until Tomorrow. I am super curious what you guys say about this in the comment sections below. With that said, when you do leave your comment in the comment sections below, I will ask you, at least you're going to just do what you're going to do anyway, but I will ask you to be as respectful as you can be in the comment sections below when you leave your comment. With that said, thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and all that other crap people online tell you to do. Keep the martial arts legit.
So me try to present me human with the hard evidence that the seafoods in my man is a fraud who pretends. And I'm pretty sure the boy is a sex offender. I caught them kick him out the Boy Scouts of America. But my baby now go rap with Foxy, now go in the truth. She said me love Paul and I'm leaving you. And I'm the one for kick Paul and get me down baby back. Some stars to the